Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Perustopia live show for Furthermore. But woo! Oh yeah, Reagan, you dance with that book.
It's just so pretty.
I know. I've been looking all the time. I look at the cover. The more things I see, and the more things I start to connect with after reading the book. So, if you guys do not know how these live shows usually, we are going to some of our thoughts on the book, and then we're going to go into the spoilery section of our talk. So you guys, if you have not read this book, please leave after we give our thoughts on the book, initial thoughts, and then we're going to delve into the spoilery bits. But we'll let you know when that happens. So without further ado, let's go into it. Reagan, would you like to get...
Sure. So I personally really loved Furthermore. I'm a huge middle grade fan. Like, it is by far one of my favorite genres, and I thought Tahereh Mafi did a fantastic job in this first installment to her new middle grade series. I thought it was colorful. I thought it was whimsical. I thought it was fun. I thought it was imaginative. It was basically everything I love in middle grade delivered to me in this story. I loved her main character, Alice. I thought she was spunky. I thought she was rash. I thought she was just so... She had the fearlessness that only like a 12-year-old can have. And it's just always so refreshing to read from a perspective like that. I just absolutely adored her. I thought Furthermore, where they traveled to, was just such a fun location. Again, I'm going to reference the imaginativeness again. I thought some of the characters they interacted with were just some of the wackiest things I've ever seen. It kind of gave me the same feels as like a Phantom Tollbooth story, which was one of my favorite books growing up. And I just really, really, really liked it. I really did. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was like a delight.
Oh, okay. So I love that. I love how you loved it. My opinion on this book is that I did enjoy it. I love the whimsical aspect of it because I haven't read really a book this whimsical like ever. Like, this book was insanely whimsical, and that's also what had for me. Although I did love it, I thought it was a great book. I thought it was more of a mature middle grade book. I thought it was a more mature middle grade. The writing style, I thought it was really interesting. When I first started reading it, the main downfall was that it was very hard for me to get into this story. Yeah. It was just very whimsically written. I felt like I had to read it very slowly to really get... That's fine. Sometimes you just have to do that with books. But it made me read this over the course of a couple of days, more than just like a day like that I usually would read a book like this, because it has bigger font and it's like, but it was still very beautiful, and it was very refreshing to see Tahereh Mafi write a book like this after reading the Shatter Me series, and I'm looking forward to reading more of her books. I really want to see after this whole entire like whimsicalness, I want to see what her next book is going to be like.
Right. I feel like I definitely like this book more.
4 or 5 stars.
Yeah, I think I like this book more than you, but I think it's also just because it's literally a story. Like, this is the type of story that's like built for me. Yeah. I loved the writing style. It felt like traditional fairy tale mixed with a little modern twist. I love the diversity and the clothing and the textiles. Everything had such tactical feeling to it. Everything was so rich. I just really loved the story. The only criticism I had, and the reason why I didn't give it 5 stars, was I thought the resolution, the ending, wrapped up really fast. Like, I'm saying, like, it was like 10 pages, and then I was like, wait, what just happened? It was like,
what happened?
Fast.
So I agree with that.
Like my criticism of the book, but I just really, really liked it. I thought it was just such an enjoyable little story.
I kind of like how it broke the fourth wall. I read it as an audiobook. So I listened to the audiobook mainly of it because I've been so busy this month that I just listened to the audiobook of it, and it broke the fourth wall. The narrator was actually a older gentleman who narrated this novel, and because it wasn't narrated by a young girl, it was narrated by an older man, and that makes sense because it did break the fourth wall, and I thought that was very creative part of it. And the diversity was so phenomenal. The colors, I felt like I could actually like taste the things that they described. Like, just
she would eat
like the way she described flowers. I was like, wow.
For sure. I really enjoyed that aspect too in terms of the narration. The way Tahereh wrote it to break the fourth wall. I love that, especially in like fairy tales. Like the whole it all stems from my Jane Eyre love. Reader, I married him. Like, I just really like when they're like, oh yeah, we know she's being a little irrational right now and she's going to regret that later, but for now she has to deal with the consequences. You know, I I just like it. I like it a lot. I thought it was so fun.
Yeah, I thought it was a very fun read. And like, honestly, it was kind of refreshing to read something like this from middle grade perspective because it does really help stimulate, I feel like, younger people's reading experience and makes it more of a different type of read.
Yeah.
For especially as a older reader, it did like stimulate like me thinking about different things and thinking how to describe things. And me as a writer, I definitely really admired book, and like it really helps introduce younger kids to different types of writing, not like the very typical like just straight up story. It delves you deeper and kind of like weaves you in and out of the story that's so beautifully written.
Right.
So I did really enjoy that.
I appreciated this because I just felt like it was a story. I feel like the story itself, because I read a lot, like I have said so many times, I read a lot of middle grade, especially middle grade fantasy, and I love it all. Different types of writing styles I appreciate for different reasons, but I felt like this story particularly had a nod to traditional fairy tale, young child stories. Like it made me think of the Phantom Tollbooth. It made me feel kind of like C.S. Lewis. It had a little more of a it had a little, what's the word I'm looking for? It had not like a more complex. It's more of a traditional.
Yeah, traditional storytelling.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Matilda. I'm sorry.
And like, do you know what I'd love to see from this book? So like this book, it brought me back to my childhood. It really showed me a story, not traditional, but kind of like extra special traditional storytelling type. Very like Once Upon a Time, and I love that. And I would love to see it turn into a movie by Tim Burton, like her husband's movie. Like I think that this would be an excellent movie by Tim Burton. Like that's
I also think it could be
pictured it in my.
I think it could be a great play too.
Oh yes, like I could so see that. Like I don't know why it kind of brought me back to the shoes, Wizard of Oz. I don't know why it reminded me of that, but like their journey and kind of going to this new land.
I think color has to do with it too. I also feel like
the color.
Play. I think it would be great animated. I think it'd be good acted out. Like I just really like it's such a visual story, and I just have to applaud Tahereh Mafi for like she really did make us feel this visceral experience. Like she didn't just like explain, like you really felt like you were there experiencing it. I devoured this book. Literally, I read it in pretty much in a day, in a couple a weekend or so. And it was just so delightful. I keep saying delightful because it really made me happy. It was just like a happy story. It made me feel kind of like a child again. I'm really excited for where it goes. It does have some mature elements, which I think is why it makes me feel like it's like kind of a nod to classic young child adventure story. I don't know. I just really liked it a lot.
Yeah, it brought you back. It brought you back to like your original roots. And like one thing I thought was really interesting in the story was that like certain things that were described or like certain things that she did were just so odd to me, but it was very intriguing. Like when she like just would eat the flower petals, like I'm like, is that a thing people do? Like do people eat flowers just like casually? And like they use different like descriptions and words, and like sometimes the words like kind of went by me and I'm like, what does that mean? It never really was described, but I also think that was done for a reason because it like doesn't time describing those things when there's other things to be described. I just think it's very interesting.
Yeah, and so what was your favorite world that they went to? Or like part of Furthermore? My favorite Furthermore part was the Land of the Left. I thought it was so funny.
Yes.
And like they were like, we have a visitor, and so long because everyone chooses to go right. And they were like prepping for, I mean, obviously they were still getting but like the whole fanfare of the whole thing, I thought it was super funny.
No, I actually know. I say the World of the Left because I thought it was like fun. It was fun, and I like. It's hard to pinpoint one world because they're all so like unique and like it would just be like a different world besides the world that they were in first, like Farronwood. I thought it would just be like Furthermore was just like one world. Like there's no other roads that they can go on, and like I just thought it was definitely more of a elaborate story than what I expected going into it, and like loved. How it kind of was like Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
Well, I think it definitely is a spin-off. Her name is Alice, so I do think I think it's referencing that to some degree, especially with the imagery and the color and everything.
Oh my gosh!
I also really thought it was hilarious that people, like, they could jump off, like, massive heights because what a silly way to die. You know, they're just like, Or like how the currency, because they measure currency in time, that you get a ruler and then like they fill it up with the amount of time that you can have, because wasting time is like the ultimate crime. I just thought it was so witty and well crafted and just like, I don't know, like when you come again, it makes me think of the Phantom Toll. Have you ever read the Phantom Toll book?
No, I haven't.
And it was like one of my favorite stories growing up, and it had, I'm not saying they're like carbon copies of each other, but it had like a similar feel. I don't know. It was so good.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder how long she worked on this novel ever since finishing Shatter Me, because it doesn't seem like a novel you could just write in a year. It seems like a novel that you'd really have to think about and very specifically, and like it was just very imaginative, and it makes me wonder how long it actually took her to write this.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, should we dive more deeply into like other parts of the book? I don't know. How did you feel about Alice as a character?
Oh wait, yeah, and it cut out.
Oh, sorry. How did you feel about Alice as a character?
Okay, Alice as a character, I thought she was so refreshing. I thought she was so fun. She was witty. She was hilarious. But she also had this like motive that I don't normally see in 12-year-olds. Like honestly, and like very intelligent and intellectual as a 12-year-old. And like I know I wasn't like that as 12, and I think it's good for people to see that in somebody as a character, because that kind of makes something like her. And I feel like she's definitely a role model. She did some stupid things, like silly things, but like that's the 12-year-old. That's what you do, and she's very relatable.
Yeah, I liked her too a lot. I thought that she was very flawed, and I really liked seeing her work through a lot of her flaws throughout the story. Like again, she was brash, she made harsh judgments, but she also went through a lot to kind of make her kind of bitter towards a lot of stuff, I would say. I thought she was just because she's flawed, she's incredibly relatable, and she's someone you want to root for. And I also thought Oliver was an interesting character too, because you grow to learn more about him, and you realize kind of he had a little tragic past too. Like with this aspect with his parents, I was like, that's really sad. And then you realize, and then they both they're both flawed, and that they should be friends, and then they need each other to grow. It was just a nice little story. I don't know.
I know, and I loved Oliver's character. I felt like he was a good counterpart to her, and I feel like they like butted heads, but then they worked well and they melded together. They weren't just like straight off best friends. They had to work to that level, and I love that about it.
Oh yeah, they hated each other for a long time. But when she found out
the first time she like kicked him,
and then she like ran through the woods with that fox, and then the fox like tried to hide her, and then her arm got ripped off, and then they had to go find a painter to pick it back. I was like, what is going on?
I know, it was like, okay, very like I was like, what? Excuse me? But it's fine. It's imaginative, and it's like it's kind of like a world where anything could be possible. And I like that about it.
Like our world, so our rules don't apply. So don't assume that they apply. And I also appreciate they didn't spend a lot of time explaining why the rules are the rules, because just like in our world, just in our existence, we wouldn't explain why things fall down when we drop them or all sorts, because those are just the rules of our universe, right? And they have their own rules. Yeah. So I just appreciate that you had to roll with it as a reader, and I thought it was a lot of fun.
You had to work with it. Yeah, and like sometimes like books that do that, I can find them kind of jumbled and messy, but she did it pretty well. Like it took me a little bit to get into the story. Once I was into it, it didn't let me go, and I thought that it was very interesting how it worked, and like it really just worked for her writing style. Like her writing, I'm just still like thrown off like in a good way about how different her writing compared to like what it used to be.
I'm not super surprised, because she had some moments in the Shatter Me series that were very like, whoa, that's a damn good line, you know? So I was super thrilled to see that she's writing middle grade, because I feel like middle grade is
all good lines.
It could be very like poetic-y, you know, it's not quite so YA, which is much more based in reality. It can be a little more, you can be more flowery with your writing in a lot of middle grade fantasy, especially. Yeah. I think her writing really is suited for this.
I think that she kind of explored it a little bit in Shatter Me, but not too much. In my a couple years ago, so I could be wrong, but like nothing really stuck with me. Not like didn't stuck with me in a bad way. Just like none of the some of lines, like, yeah, they stick with me. This has just been a completely just good impression of like her writing on me, like this book. It was so good. Like, just like I opened up to like this page that she described, like touching the dewy cotton of the clouds, like just like using this very natural, very beautifully written like nature. Like I didn't really get that. It's like a dystopian novel. It's like it's science fiction. It's like kind of fantasy, but like this one's just so beautifully done. Every line is like a quotable line almost.
I know it was really like a treat to read this book. This is probably one of my favorite books you've read for book club this year.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, I'm very excited and like to see like what else we're gonna be reading from book club, because our book in August, which is insane.
It's good.
I'm so happy about that, and thank you guys so much for following us and like just like following along with this book club and sticking with us, and like it just means a lot to us. Do we want to go and announce what our book club book of the month is for next month?
Yeah, so next
unless you have anything else to say.
No, unless do we have any questions?
Oh my gosh, we have questions. I totally forgot that was a part of this.
I was like
yes, we should have questions. Like, hello, Sasha. There's a whole entire other part to this video. Yes, and I was the one who asked the questions this month. Okay, so let me go get that up. Let's see if you guys have asked any questions. We talked a lot about that. We'll take like a few questions. Okay.
My internet is so slow. I'm opening the current live stream, so if there's
I don't think anybody asked us questions yet. Yeah, open up the actual live stream because like I think I confused people with how I worded it.
Just pause. Okay. Well, someone said your hair is always beautiful.
Oh, Reagan's hair is always nice. Reagan has a
someone said, what do you think about the physical design of the book? Like the transition pages, the section between.
Oh, I love those. I love those.
This whole book is honestly like stunning, from the dust cover to the color of the novel to the end pages to I also felt like the words for the transition pages were kind of sassy. Not sassy, but again, it was break the fourth wall, turn for more chapters, moving, and like one of them's like, this is my favorite part, and things like that. I just really I really like that. I like that aspect. It was just funny. I don't know. I really liked the design. I thought it was.
I don't know where to put my hardcover. I have the paperback, like that's the arc, but I don't know where the actual book is.
Oh well,
frustrating.
I just appreciate it because I feel like the design and of the novel is just as well crafted as a story and just as whimsical as a story. Like I feel like they suit each other really nice.
I totally agree, and I think that it was a team effort. I feel like crafting this whole entire book. It wasn't just Tahereh writes the book and then the whole entire creative decisions of like what goes into creating the actual physical hardcover of it. I feel like they had to work as a team to make it
what it is. So someone else asked, have you read any books? Like, would you have any recommendations if you like this book for another book? I have a couple because I read again a lot of middle grade.
You get that on. Let me think.
Yeah, I mentioned if you haven't read The Phantom Tollbooth, that's like a classic story. Would totally recommend that. The Search for Wadala by Toni Ditzililitsi is really, really great. I really like that. I'm just like looking at my shelves. I love middle grade. Oh, and also The School for Good and Evil by Shannon Shawnini. I think all have really fun, fantastical elements, fairy tale elements, clever, beautiful writing that I think would appeal to you if you really liked this book.
Yeah, mine is gonna be totally a plug, but it's also very true because like I don't read that much middle grade. But the one I have read, and I like seriously mean this. So my co-author, Lindsay Cummings, she has a middle grade series that I generally really love, and I loved it even before we were co-authors, so it counts. Keepers, and like it's actually very it's very high fantasy, and like it's so cool. It's just a really cool book, and it's a very easy read. It's to get just immersed in the world very quickly. It's not as whimsical as like Furthermore, but it's pretty dang fantastical. And then I'm on a recommendation. I think that, this is just like in general, if we're gonna just bring it back to like middle grade, like when I really love Magic Tree House and I like Camp Jansen.
There you go. Great.
There you go.
Classic.
There you go, guys. This is my recommendation that I need to get more into. But I think I will get more into it now. I want to read School of Good and Evil.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Totally recommend. All right, do we want to move on to the Perustopia Book Club pick of the month for October?
I have it somewhere on my bookshelf, but like I'm currently packing, so books are in there.
It's okay. Let's just announce it.
Okay, let's announce. Wait. Let me see if I have it really quickly. I feel like it is on my bookshelf somewhere, but I have a lot of books out of place. Okay, we're just gonna announce it because it's physically with me as of right now. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to be reading Stealing Snow by Danielle Page. Woo! It just came out. I did the event in New York for it, and like Danielle's such a dear friend of mine, and she's such an amazing writer. It's based off of the Snow Queen retelling. So if you like Elsa stuff, you're gonna love this book. Who is in this insane asylum, and it's about her having to go out from there, and she like gets thrown into this crazy world of the Snow Queen. And like, if you know anything about the Snow Queen story, you know it's gonna be insane. And she is this like, it's just really cool, guys. I'm really bad at explaining stuff like this, but it's really cool. Insane asylum, fantasy world retelling with a lot of badass characters.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be really great.
Fairy tale retelling set in a darker setting, because I know I do, so it's exciting stuff.
We love that stuff. Awesome. So, guys, I think that's all for today's, I hope, live show. And if you want to go join our book club, we are a book club that's mainly based on Goodreads. So go over there, make friends, discuss the newest book. It is available now, so you get it in bookstores.
Yep.
Awesome. So I think that's all, right, Reagan?
Yeah, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next month. Still alive. Stopping. It's still alive. It's stopping.
What are you doing, Sasha?
It's like literally, we're still on air. Hey guys, what's up? It's like taking forever to stop.
We are professionals, can't you tell?
Yeah, you
can't
tell. Why hate me?
This is tragic.
It says fast. How is this happening? Well, guys, you gotta. What?
Did I just hang up?
Should we just hang up?
Yeah. Okay, we're
gonna hang up. We're hanging up on you.